It's podcast day. It's podcast day. Welcome. Welcome in, friends. Welcome to the heyBrownBerry YouTube channel. My name is Marceline, and I am very happy to have you here in my little corner of the internet. I'm dressed as corporate Marceline for this week's events. This is going to be a return to my podcast roots. When I started my podcast several years ago, I think my very first video was a video shot on my phone, like this one, from a hotel room. It was a trip that I was on for work, and I had been enjoying making podcasts and seeing what people were creating and vlogging about. At the time, vlogs were really popular, kind of short views into a person's day or their world. And I turned on my camera in a hotel room one night and thought, I'll just talk about the knitting projects that I brought with me on this trip. And so at the time, the BrownBerry Chronicles podcast was born, which has since been renamed the heyBrownBerry YouTube channel. So welcome if this is your first time. This is my making journal, my little spot to share the things that I'm creating with my hands. And welcome back to those of you who've joined me. I am in Las Vegas, Nevada for a conference this week, and I've been wanting to reconnect with you all. Wanting to hear about what you're working on and share what I'm working on. So I'm on a break in my room. This is pretty typical of my work travel when I am away from home for a string of days. I am sitting in my hotel room near the window with some nice lighting. This place can be pretty overstimulating. If you've never been to Las Vegas, Nevada, or don't know anything about it, it's sort of like a highly manufactured, kind of intense sort of place. There's great things about it: good food, entertainment. Anyone who's been here for entertainment purposes knows that it's sort of big and bright and a lot. The professional work side of it, which I've been here for maybe a dozen times, can be a bit more subdued, but it's still a lot. It's multiple days of peopling and socializing. And times like this, quiet moments in my room are essential to keep my brain steady. So I wanted to share a little bit of this trip with you. You will have seen just a bit of my journey to get here. And I'm going to share the projects that I brought with me, just in a short form vlog style, going back to how this all started, just sharing with you. So I'm glad that I can do that. I'm grateful I can do that. And I'm not sure how many of these small travel logs I will put out there, but we'll see. Kind of going with the flow. When other things are very structured and pre-planned or a little bit more pressured, which work things can be, I find that I often turn to the creative side of things as a balance to that. And it's nice that you can be part of that with me, so thank you. Next up, I'll share what projects I brought and just, how I'm feeling about them. The usual. Thanks for being here, friends. Bringing along a bigger project with me sometimes means I have to get creative about how I travel with it. I found that it's helpful to me when I'm knitting flat to have most of this top folded up and clipped. Clip it together, it's easier for me to move the whole thing around. This is Ruegen. Ruegen is a top knit side to side, and it's a pattern from Making Stories magazine, issue 11. I fell in love with this pattern after seeing 2 of my knitty friends making it, and this style completely suits me. Short sleeve, cropped, and a very unique design. This side-to-side construction is something I hadn't tried before, but I'm loving the way it knits up. I'm using Middlebrook Fiberworks yarn. This is Anne Choi's Shetland Ramie Silk Blend. It's vintage number 8. I've very much been enjoying the simplicity of this pattern, and I've already contemplated making more than one. So it's very early in the morning, about 6 a.m., and I'm about to do some yoga, some knitting, go get some coffee, maybe go by the gym. I am rounding out the end of my project. I have the rest of this garter stitch short row panel to go and another stockinette panel about this size for my next shoulder piece. And I have this much yarn left. This is that time in the project where I wish I had weighed how much yarn I used when I did a similar section on the project, because then I would know for sure by weighing this if it was going to get me to the end. But instead, we have a situation of possible yarn chicken. There is some seaming and some armhole detail to be done, so I'm not sure. I did the classic desperate move of bringing my swatch in case I need to unravel it, which I'm willing to do because this is a decent amount of yarn. This could do seaming for sure. I could use the yarn in here to seam, which would be good since it's already been knit, and I would unravel it and soak it, let it dry, and then I could use it for seaming. So we'll see if it gets to that point. It's times like these that I'm very glad to be a maker, a handcrafter specifically. Moving the hand stills the mind, etc. I've been reading recently more about neurodivergence and the ways in which that expresses. I just finished a book called Divergent Mind. I'll post the information in the description box below. And it was really, really eye-opening. And I find that now that I'm going into a heavily social situation, in some ways a pressure situation because it's a work event, I find that after reading that book and reflecting on some of my own expressions of neurodivergence, I'm really in my head in a good way about how I want to move through this setting. A lot of talking, a lot of movement, a lot of external stimulation. I mean, we're in Las Vegas, so that's just part of the landscape anyway, but a conference is sort of a concentrated social event. And I am feeling positive about the fact that I'm thinking more about how I want to move through the event and the activity. I really recognize how many instances I've gone through not being fully present, not really checking in with myself, and just doing what's expected for those situations. So I want to see what it's like this time when I recognize my own limits for socializing, checking in on my mood, my energy, what my body might need, and so on. It's going to be new to me to do that, and I'm promising myself to have patience with myself if I don't have some life-altering experience because of having learned some more about myself. But I expect that if I take the time to reflect on it and maybe even journal about it, that there will be some benefit for this instance and the ones to come in the future as well. I shied away in the past from doing a lot of reading, reflection, even discussion about things that might make me go deep into who I am, who I think I am, because those are sort of big feelings kind of thoughts. But now I'm embracing it. I'm moving forward, moving toward it. I have some wonderful people in my life, family members and friends, who are extremely supportive of this kind of reflection, and I'm not taking that for granted. I'm taking it with gratitude that there's people that I can talk to as I learn more and as I understand more. And also, I think part of the way my brain works is it's something new and novel for me to be interested in. And in the meantime, as I work it all out, I've got my knitting. That's it for this little vlog, friends. Thanks for visiting with me. As you can see, I'm back home in my happy place. Happy Pride Month to you all, and I look forward to our next visit. Thanks for being here. Mwah. See you next time.